Welcome back to Investor Success, where today we're going to unpack one of our young tradies acquisitions here in Bendigo. Give you a good understanding as to what's going on. So very time poor professional wanted a project, wanted to be in an affordable location, wanted to be in a desirable area for long-term growth. Also wanted some strategy where he could renovate or potentially do a subdivision on that asset. So ticks some major boxes. So what we identified in Bendigo, one of the major growth corridors of regional Victoria, was that we could secure a property. It was advertised at $320,000. So what we did at that point in time might seem like we've got under market value here, but we purchased an opportunity. It was a deceased estate. We also had vacant possession, so the property was vacant. So we also had in this situation, given that it was vacant, we negotiated early access to the property for tenancy purposes. Now, how cool is that to have access to the property?
Definitely, so powerful. So what was able to be achieved there was that the selling agent actually became the property management agency as well. So this becomes a very smooth transition to acquiring a tenant prior to settlement. And obviously that's very impactful to your cash flow position from day one.
Yeah, so we're pretty close in achieving that from day one. I don't think it was too long after settlement occurred, we actually had the tenant in there paying $320 a week on an asset that we purchased for $300,000 in a desirable part of town, about 3 kilometres from the Bendigo CBD. So what we had was vacancy rates, and why we were solid on this number and really confident is because we had under 1% vacancy rate, so extremely tight rental market. So we knew that if we could get that, and now 6 months on from that acquisition, the tradie hasn't done too much. He's just been going about his business in Melbourne doing his plumbing stuff that he does. But what we've been able to identify is that property's now worth how much, Alex?
I would say about 350 to 360,000.
Yep, and we've had appraisals to verify that and validate that. So it's an extremely important uplift. You might look at that and say, well, that's nearly a 20%. Well, it is, based on demand today and the low stock coming to market in that location is driving these prices crazy at the moment. So what that creates is a $60,000 equity position for this young investor who's still doing his plumbing, not even probably aware to the extent just yet because we haven't checked in, but we will be very shortly, to leverage some of that $60,000 of equity uplift to transition into the next asset to help him accumulate more investment property.
So exciting when he has not even executed the renovation potential of this property that was looking at being done on day one, but he actually held off on that.
Yeah, and we went through the scope of works for the reno, spend about $30,000. What we're going to do is get an uplift in at least $60,000, which we're already at that point. So we know that it's probably going to be a $420,000 value property once we implement the strategy. He could actually achieve that within a 12-month period. And that would then put upwards pressure on this rental price.
This is amazing.
Over $400 a week.
This young man's in his mid-20s, first investment, was a little nervous to get into the market, but this was, through our expertise, our support, he felt very confident in achieving this, and now look at the outcome in a very short amount of time. He can just catapult now into his next investment.
And he didn't even know who we were. This is a referral from another client that recommended our services. And look at what we've been able to achieve for him. So really solid foundation, really excited about the future prospects for this client. And I hope you've seen value in that. We'll bring you the next one shortly.